right, you guys, here we are. Our first official podcast episode.
I didn't think we were going to make it today.
I'm telling you, I was like, we're getting some stuff done, but I don't know if this is going to be one of the things.
Should we tell them what it's actually about? They know the name. Everything's perfect, but should we tell them what it's about?
Yeah, so obviously everything isn't perfect, and that's really what it's about. It's so easy from the outside looking at other people's lives and thinking that everything's perfect or they have everything figured out. And it's just a space where we get to talk about our challenges in life, everything from daily challenges to maybe some bigger things that we face, and we get to talk about it and help support each other through it.
Exactly. We're talking about all the good, the messy, what's going on in the world, what's going on in relationships. We might do some fab or flop product reviews. We're going to run the gamut on things that you would talk basically to your best friend.
Totally. And I'll try anything at least once. So let's go. Let's see.
I love it. Donald's going to take me along for all the rides. Somebody was like, do you want to do a brand deal of a CBD THC drink? And I was like, maybe with Donald.
Yeah, I'm over here looking like, what was that old game that where you try to get things in the frog's mouth? Like that. I'll try.
Everything's perfect, especially our friendship.
I mean, that is so true. Like a lot of these episodes will probably be everything's perfect except, or, at times you deal with. But this one really is everything's perfect, especially how we met each other and how this all came together.
Okay, wait. So we gotta talk about this because it kind of is the setup for what this podcast is going to be about. Yes, we are besties, but we want to be your bestie, and we want to be here to share everything with you. Your best friend is your biggest asset. And let's be honest, your best friend shouldn't let you leave the house looking crazy.
Nope.
Best friend shouldn't let you be talking with a bunch of shit up in your teeth.
Right. That really is one that happens all the time. I'm like, check your crowd.
And by the way, if you get out of a conversation with a best friend and you notice you got stuff in your teeth, that is a frenemy.
It really
that is somebody who wants to do you dirty.
They don't want you to win. No. They're like, yeah, bye, boo. Just let you go off into the world.
You look great.
Yeah.
So
okay.
We're here to be your best friend. And we'll explain a little fun thing that we're going to do at the end of the episode so that we can be your biggest asset as well. But let's talk about our friendship and how we ended up here with a podcast.
I'll start. When I first found out about your existence from just like a lot of people saying yes to a Beachbody challenge. It was before Beachbody turned into Body. Mm-hmm. And my cousin was like, hey, I just started this thing called Beachbody. I'm doing a challenge. I think you'd be really great. I actually think you should sign up as a coach. And I was like, remember, I was sitting on the toilet reading it. Like, you know what? This seems like a good time and place to make a life-changing decision. So I was like, I'm all in.
Things I didn't know. I never knew the toilet detail.
Yeah, I remember exactly the spot that I was in. And actually, I'm trying to remember because there was a period of time. I had a roommate at the time, Tara. You've met Tara. Yeah. And our bathroom door didn't even go on the hinges, and I was just looking around like, we got to change some things. And this one bathroom apartment can't even close the door. Like, I'm in here. So I said yes, and it was actually, I think it was like a year before streaming started, so I had to wait for the Beachbody on Demand app. So I had to wait for my box to come, and I put the DVD in, was looking at the materials and everything. And, the first video, you come on, hi, I'm Autumn Calabrese. And I was like, okay, let's see what you got. And I'm telling you, bitch, like 5 minutes in, I was like, whoa, this is definitely going to be the life-changing experience. I might die.
And in terms of changing my life, yes, I might not be here anymore.
Yeah, no more life to live. So that was it. And it was really cool. And then it was like, I was talking to friends about it, and you lived in the space where you do, I'm sure a lot of people get to know you in those programs. And it was really cool. And I just kept repeating it because, like I said, it was the DVD. And then some other stuff happened.
So you knew of me. You
Right.
were living in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in LA. I don't know of Donald Stamper at the time. But I think I want to say that was like 26. Well, maybe for you it was like 2015, 2016.
End of 2015 is when I signed up.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense because fast forward, my sister lives in Nashville. She ends up signing up for ballroom lessons with you through a Groupon.
Yeah, like totally random. Didn't even, my name wasn't even on it. There was no way that like I had like my business name on there. There was no way that she could have found me through posting about Beachbody or anything like that. Just through a Groupon.
Oh no, and she wouldn't have, because at the time Kaylee wasn't really like doing Beachbody. Like she kind of started it and stopped it, that sort of thing. But so she signs up, she's taking dance lessons with you. You guys are dancing, and she mentions.
Yeah, we, after like several, probably like a month of dancing or so, she's like, I saw you do Beachbody. And I was like, yeah. She said, that's my sister. And I remember in the moment thinking, oh, her sister's her coach.
You didn't see the resemblance?
I honestly, no, but you know, I
some
just
people
didn't even
see it and some people don't.
Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely, once it was said, I was like, oh my God, I totally see it. But it's just such, you don't expect the world to be so small.
Right.
So your brain doesn't even make that connection. She was like, no, Autumn's my sister. And I was like, oh my God. I remember exactly what I said. I was like, I cuss your sister out every day, which is still true today,
Perfect.
by the way.
That is crazy. And then we were coming to Nashville for our big event of the summer, 20,000 people. And my sister says, oh, I want you to meet my ballroom dance teacher. And I'm like, okay. So it was our last show, like celebration. I had just danced on stage with Jody Messina. She had written a song for me, like all the fun things. And then we go out to this bar, and here you come walking up, and like my dad is there.
Mm-hmm. Your brother and sister, well, now sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we met. We all like sat at this big table. It was so loud. We all had a drink together. And I was like, he's cool, he's nice, but we didn't get to really talk that much because it was so loud.
It was like, and it too, for me, I didn't want to, because it was also a family time. Like you all weren't always able to see each other. So I was there and present.
8 years later, D knows why. And he's like, I should have just inserted myself.
Well, I was like, let me just like, be here, but not try to take up too much of attention. You have to really try not to take up too much attention. So, but then a few months later, Kaylee was wanting to come visit you, and she didn't really want to travel alone. And she was like, can I bring a friend? You were like, sure.
Yeah.
And so that was when I really started to insert myself into your life. I remember like walking around your house like, I could set up a little pallet here and sleep. You wouldn't even know I was here.
A pallet? There was enough room. She didn't need a pallet.
I know.
You could have been hiding on the other side of the house.
Yeah, that's so true.
But you came in. I remember like Donald and Kaylee came in. I had just finished doing a country heat workout like in my main room, whatever. And we just had the best time that weekend. Mm-hmm. And you and Kaylee were training for ballroom. And I remember being like, I want to do that. Like, I actually was a little annoyed that my sister was taking ballroom lessons because I'm the dancer. And I was like, how dare you? Did I decide to start dancing then? Or did we have our New York trip first?
We I kept talking about moving to LA and how I'd always wanted to live in LA. And you were like, move, just do it. And you said, move here, I'll take lessons. Because when, a lot of people who are self-employed and work with clients can relate to, especially when you work with clients in person, the idea of moving, it's like if you're a hairstylist. The idea of moving, it's like even if you've been working for years, you start from scratch building a new clientele. So you mentioned it, but only in that way. Like if you move here, then I'll dance with you. But in my mind, I was like, okay, that's one. But I have, like I was just
one
thinking,
doesn't pay the bills in LA.
Exactly. We're going to need a couple more dancers than that. It was then New York. We talked about it, and after New York, it started to be a more serious conversation.
Let's just talk about New York for a second. So I had to go to New York for a work trip, and I say to Kaylee and Donald, I'm like, come. Like, I'll say one thing about my sister, but I don't want to talk about anybody else. But my sister was going through divorce, so I'm like, come. And they're like, okay, great. So they like hop in the car and road trip it to New York. I'm like, you guys could stay in my hotel room with me. Not the smartest thing on my part, forgetting that hotel rooms in New York are, an inch big.
Yeah.
And I remember walking into my hotel room before you guys got there, and I was like, oh, there was like 2 twin beds in there. And when I say twin, I mean twin.
Yeah.
And there might have been 2 feet in between them. So it was tight.
It was.
For 3 people.
Yeah. I hadn't been in a hotel room that small. And it is sort of like once you go back to New York and you stay in a regular room, you're like, oh yeah, this is how they do it here.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Yeah. It's tight quarters. So we were having a good time. We went out that weekend, but I was working and I had an early flight home. So we were out and about. We were talking about Donald moving to LA, and I was saying that maybe I would hire him as an assistant. Like, okay, like he needs a job. I did need an assistant at the time. So the whole weekend turned into you calling me boss.
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
I was like, I got you, boss. Like ridiculous things. Like if there was a puddle, I was like, my boss doesn't need to step over puddles. Like pick you up and move you and stuff like that. Like, not my boss.
Not my boss. He actually, at one point, he did carry me like several blocks back to the hotel because my feet were dying.
Mm-hmm. I had to do several hoists up. I was like, man, you're tiny, but there's some density here. Like muscle definitely weighs more than fat. I'll tell you that, honey. Like, wow.
He's gotten a lot stronger over the years.
Yes.
Also.
Yes, definitely.
That's a whole nother podcast. Your transformation. I feel like that has to be a story. But yeah, after New York though, Kaylee ended up deciding she was going to move to LA. You were like, okay, I think I'm going to do it. And for a while, you were going back and forth. You would spend 2 weeks in LA and 2 weeks in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
So you would come and teach me. And I was in development on 80 Day Obsession. And I kept saying, like, I'll put you in 80 Day.
Yeah. I specifically remember it was because we were getting ready for a competition. But before that one, we had one in Vegas. And you came, Kaylee and I danced at it. And you came to support us and like hang out, check it all out.
I definitely remember being in Vegas and we stayed in somebody's condo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I have no recollection really
of
the weekend. Like I could see that condo and then I'm like, what did we do? Was I only there for a night?
You were only there maybe 2 nights.
Okay.
I don't have a really good memory, but some things like I could tell you the like cocktail dresses you wore on both nights.
I do remember I was in my red dress one night.
And
then, a maroon one?
Well,
the cutout.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, it's coming back to me.
And bougie, you were walking in your heels. You were like, these are so. I remember. You were like, oh, Louboutins are just so uncomfortable. So casually stopped into an Yves Saint Laurent store. Get some new pumps. I was like, oh, things are different. I'm not used to this.
Oh, I'm dead. Oh my God. Oh, times have changed.
But yeah, fast forward to
setting up my own podcast studio.
Just cussing, figuring out,
sweating,
how to tape lights up under the thing. Anyways, I would talk to you on that trip. I think the day we were leaving, the background cast in the program I started with, which I actually started with 21 Day Fix Extreme.
There's a reason you almost died.
Yeah, it's still to this day, I might die. The background cast were so fit. And so I was like, okay, how fit do I need to get to be able to be in this program? And that's when you said, well, this is the first time ever. We're doing it in real time. So we actually want people who, like regular people, and who will have a transformation while we're filming it.
Right.
That's when it became a real possibility, because I knew that in no short period of time would I be able to become a like fitness model athlete like some of the people who were in the program.
That's when you became America.
That's when I became America. I was like, you know what? It's all about branding.
He's like, I'm America, Autumn. Like, if I can do it, they can do it.
Mm-hmm. So that's basically like how we met, and the rest is history. When you said I could be in the program, you said you just have to live here. I was like, well, where am I supposed to live? You said, well, you can live with me at first. And so I think for like almost all of the filming, like 2.5 months of filming, I was living with you. And at the very end, I got my first apartment in LA, and the rest is history. We've just been friends ever since. But I also feel like those first few years, we continued to get closer and closer and closer.
Oh, yeah. We were like together nonstop because you still lived fairly close to me. Then this fool had to go and move to like the other side of the dang city, which makes he's like 12, 13 miles from me. But that might as well,
yeah.
You might as well be in another country.
Yeah.
Funniest memory.
Oh, God, that's so hard because it's been so. What's yours?
My 40th birthday in Napa, we had some good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember trying to kill the spider on the couch?
Get it.
Oh my God.
And you're like, Wah!
I was like,
I still have the video.
one of us are about to die. And I'm not confident that it's going to be the spider. It was one of the most frightening things I've ever, yeah.
And also, when we went on our multi-city tour for 80 Day, me, you, and Kaylee were on the private plane because we had to fly in multiple cities. Listen, y'all, this is not like the life, okay? I wish we were still doing private planes. But it was really bad weather. We were flying into New York. Mm-hmm. And you were passed out. We loved Two Broke Girls at the time. And there's a scene in Two Broke Girls where 2 Chainz is on a private plane with them. And he's asleep. And so she's like shaking her butt in his face. And she's like, all I want for my birthday. So you passed out on the plane. And I needed to reenact.
Yeah.
That
I'm glad that's one of your funniest memories. I was taking advantage of people. I'm just sitting there trying to catch some Z's. No, that was when I saw that video, I was like, oh my God. And I slept through it. Like, not only was the plane literally like it
falling
was,
out of the sky.
It feels so luxurious to be able to fly private like that, but also it's a little bit at the time it was a little bit scarier. Yeah. Now it's like, is any airplane safe, honestly? But
no, I'm about to road trip it again.
Exactly.
Okay, so wait, so what's your funniest moment?
My funniest moment, I definitely think like the times that stand out are times that you've already mentioned, like when we were doing that multi-city. Okay, on that same trip, remember when we were in like they booked us a hotel room at this at this like place that I don't know. It's kind of surprising that they would book you a place like that. And we also, the 3 of us shared, and those people were having sex next.
Yes. Wait, we were in Florida. Uh-huh. We checked into that hotel so late. I was so hungry. There was no room service, nothing. Mm-hmm. But we were getting like candy bars from the front desk.
Yeah.
Because we were starving.
We finally, through like all kinds of things happening in the day, we finally find ourselves getting in bed. It's like, okay, time to rest. And we just hear.
And hold on. This hotel room was also 2 feet big. So Donald's in one bed. Uh-huh. Kaylee and I are in the other. I literally have like the corner of a nightstand next to my eyeball. I was like, if I roll over, I'm going to lose my eye. And we're like, we keep talking and we get quiet. We keep talking and we get quiet. And finally, we're like, okay, we have to go to sleep. It was like 1 a.m. We had to be up to go teach again. Uh-huh. So we like lay there and everybody gets quiet.
Yeah. It's like you're just about to doze off in here. And it was like, if that ain't a turtle, then I'm pissed. And it
got so
kept
worse.
Going.
It was like.
You literally yelled. You were like, come on. We're trying to sleep.
Let's be honest. At one point, I was like, is she being murdered? It was like.
Well, the next morning, the hotel security was like
all night
banging on the door.
All night. It was like headboard banging against the wall. Like, I mean, 1 minute we were laughing because we're like, seriously. But then it was like hours and hours. And I was like, yeah, what did y'all take? Because like, wrap it up.
Exactly.
And then, yes, at like 6 a.m, the front desk was banging on their door because their ride to the airport was there and their phone kept ringing. Mm-hmm. And then phone was ringing, banging, and we just did not.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah. The timing of it, too, was literally like something you'd see in a movie. It's like, okay, finally, let's make the best of it. Small room, no good food, but, at least finally we can just
have a bed.
Feet are on the ground, we have a bed, we can go to sleep. And then these, whoever they were, I mean, a couple of champions, I'll tell you that. I don't know.
I was waiting to see something on the news the next day. I was like, something happened in there.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I think that's one.
That's a good one.
Really sticks out.
That's a good one. So at what moment do you think, for you were like, oh, we're besties?
Yeah. So my we're besties moment, I think that I just sensed, and I feel that you must have also felt like that we were going to be good friends, and because you totally opened up your home to me, and from the very beginning, I felt like just a connection with you. Like there's not really a moment where it went from, okay, someone that I know or I'm acquaintances with to I feel closer to. I got more comfortable over time, just like time does with anybody. I think from the very beginning, I honestly think maybe that first trip to LA, mm-hmm. because of proximity, and I just finished the book Let Them by Mel Robbins, and it's interesting because she talks a lot about adult friendships and how proximity plays a big part. Because of proximity, maybe I didn't think, oh, we're besties, but it's funny because I remembered before ever meeting you, when I was just doing the program, I wonder what it's like to just hang out with Autumn. Like, and I think people think that about anyone that they would do a workout program with or something. It wasn't like in a weird stalker way, even though I found out, but it
found you,
but it was just interesting because it was like, oh yeah, it's exactly how it would feel just hanging out with one of your best friends. And from very early on, I felt that way about you. And then you really showed up as a best friend, because I wouldn't have been able to move to LA in the way that I did, if it wasn't for knowing you. So thanks, friend.
I still miss us living together sometimes. We had a great time for those couple months. It was a little chaotic because it was you, me, Dom, my sister, and my 2 nephews.
Yeah.
I mean, there should have been cameras rolling.
There really should have. It was wild.
It was crazy. But then you left me. But I tell Donald now, it's like, if you ever even think you're leaving LA without me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't. We started the podcast.
We started the podcast. Okay, so speaking of, so here we are. It's like 8 years later. We have been through all these things, like so many life things and workout programs together. But like, yes, there's the stuff on camera, but like just getting to have you on those sets with me has been so amazing and really elevated the experience. I feel like for me to have a friend that I could go back and live those memories with and like would put me at ease and make me laugh, because there is a lot that happens like when I'm in front of the camera. It's very stressful. Mm-hmm. So to have somebody up there that was like always just making it so fun.
Yeah.
But now here we are 8 years later, and we're finally doing something together that is like us really together. I mean, on the set, obviously we're together, but I'm just up there yapping away and cueing and motivating and all the things.
Right. Yeah.
Now we both get to talk. So why a podcast? Let's talk about that, because you're the one that came to me with it.
Well, for me, I have been thinking about a podcast for a while. I really like talking, you know that.
Same.
And I also like helping people. That's why I love that our connection in the beginning was body, because it was focused, that is about helping people and helping people transform and find that power within themselves. And I just want to find more creative ways where I feel fulfilled, because I'm doing things that I'm passionate about and good at, and I'm helping others feel fulfilled and empowered by what I'm doing. And to me, it's like we've always worked so well together. In that way, it was a no-brainer. And I wasn't sure how to throw the idea out at you. And I was like, bitch, what do you mean you're not sure? Like, send a text. So that's exactly what I did. Here we are.
And I'm like, yeah, duh.
You're like, let's go.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you obviously said like, hey, do you want to do a podcast together? I was like, yes. Because as I love all of the fitness stuff that I get to do and the nutrition stuff that I get to do, but same creativity wise, I just always looking for more opportunities. I always want to be doing something new and fresh and engaging, where again, the creativity side, but also it's just another way we've been able to build such an amazing community around us. And I love that we get to explore it in a bigger way through the podcast, because obviously I love talking fitness and nutrition and wellness, but I love getting to talk about just what's going on in our lives and in the world. And, you know, I love when you call me and tell me about products that you're using that are zapping your eyeball.
Literally.
We're going to have to do it. We're going to have to review it. Yeah. It's going to be a thing. So yeah, getting to do that and share another side of ourselves, and then also get to know our community better and be able to step up for them that much more is really exciting for me.
I'm really excited. Well, I'm just really excited because I do think the podcast gives people an opportunity to see us both in different ways, because they're really going to see us how we see each other, which is as a best friend. And
Yeah.
like you share your wins and your struggles and all the things, like we said, we're going to share here. And so I'm with you. It's exciting because it's a new light that we get to share.
I don't know why. Maybe it's because people can comment, obviously. It just feels like a safer space to be more of myself. I will say that over the years, I have ended up censoring myself quite a bit. Like, you get a sliver of me on social, or you get a sliver of me in the workout programs. But over the years, just judgments and comments and knowing more people rely on you. You're like, oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to be this big or this loud, like
Right.
personality wise. Like, maybe I should tone it back. Maybe I should be this. But I feel like when you're just with your best friend, you just are you.
Exactly.
It's like your safe spot. And I'm like, I'm just going to let it all. Here it is.
I feel the same. And I think no matter what, I think that people are really going to connect with us for that reason, because when you share something on social or something, even a program, it's such a specific piece, and this feels like a safe space where we just get to be ourselves and let that really help people along their journey while we're just sharing ours.
And explore
it feels,
topics.
Yeah, and it feels safe doing that with each other, where if I was just doing a podcast by myself, or if you were with yourself, it still is sort of like that pedestal. And now it's like, I got you, you got me, so here we go.
I got you, babe, so here we go. Here we go. So I guess I'm curious, what do you want our listeners or viewers, depending on where they're streaming this podcast, like what are your hopes that they get to take away from our show?
I hope that maybe we normalize some feelings and thoughts and things, struggles that people have, because it's easy to think that you're the only person that deals with certain things. And the truth is, everyone is facing different challenges or struggles or what the fuck moments.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really good. I'm excited that the audience that we already have gets to experience that part of us and realize they're not alone, and really everyone on this floating rock is figuring it out together.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Is like, when we were coming up with a name and we went with Everything's Perfect, and we'll explain where that came from, but I was like, oh yeah, no, that really is the perfect name, because it's not about being perfect. I know for myself, I've never wanted to give that sense. Like, I don't have a perfect life. It's just one shit show after the next around here.
Yeah.
The last 2 days in my household, my ex-husband, who's my personal assistant, if you don't know, that's a whole nother podcast we'll do. But I was like, he might kill me today with all the craziness going on. So I just want people to understand that. I want them to see that, because it all pertains to all aspects of life. Like when we talk about fitness and nutrition and wellness, right? It's not like, oh, I've got everything figured out, or, oh, I'm perfect. There's no such thing. Mm-hmm. So let's just show it all. Let's share it all. Like, if something's not working for us, let's talk about it. It's a place where I hope people will also come so that they can, like, if they don't feel like they have a safe space to express a feeling, like, message us, let us know. Like, maybe then we'll address it as a topic on here, and you could feel like, okay, I'm not alone in this feeling.
I think it's really important. And I also want people to know that my intention while we sit here and do these episodes is to just be so honest, because that's really what I think people need. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes that might mean that I say something that a listener doesn't agree with, but to me that's okay, because this isn't about me requiring everyone to see something the same way I do. This is just about my process. Might help you. It might help you because you can relate to it. It might help you because you can be like, well, that's stupid, bitch. I would never do that. However, it helps. But this is, to me, like a space where I want to be totally real.
Right.
And that means that will really resonate with some people. And at times, the same person, what I say, it might not. But that's okay, because nothing's perfect.
Yeah. We're not here to be like, oh, we're exactly identical. That's the beauty of the world, is that we can all have our own thoughts and opinions, and then,
keep it going.
We can keep it moving. Keep it moving. Okay, so the name.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Tell them where it came from.
Well, okay, so we were trying to figure out a podcast name, and I always, I'm someone who will get ideas for something, and then I get really hung up on those kind of details. But when we filmed the 21 Day Fix and Fix Extreme Real Time, you'd be like, okay, we're going to do this for this many
60 seconds.
60 seconds, yeah. Or depending on what it was, it's 30 seconds, and then we're jumping and doing intensifying it. And so when it was a hard move or challenging move where we'd want to cuss at you, cuss at the move, whatever it is, throw something, we'd just be like, perfect. Perfect. And so I was like,
of course that's what you're putting there right now.
Exactly. Of course this is what we're doing. And so I was like, everything's perfect, because it's sort of tongue-in-cheek from that program when it's like, obviously this isn't perfect. This is very difficult, hard. I don't know if I want to do it. Shit, but here we are. And so that's sort of, to me, what the name gives.
Yeah. And I was like, when you said it, I was like, yeah. Because we had gone through several versions of well, what if we call it this? What was the original one we did?
Before and after.
We're going to, before we were friends, after we were friends.
Mm-hmm.
Before this, after that. And then did we have one other one in there? I feel like there was one other one we were talking about.
Yeah, we had a whole list. But what's interesting is all the other ones, I felt like we were trying to find. Mm-hmm. And this title just came to us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. It just resonated immediately. So
yeah,
if that was good, because at that point, for me, it was all right, we don't have to worry about the name anymore. Now let's just make it a thing.
Make it a thing. Here we are trying.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. I hope the microphones are recording.
I literally looked back. I was like, did I press record?
Is the red light on?
It's on. I hope it's the correct red light, honestly, at this point.
We've talked about our friendship. We've talked about why we're doing this podcast and what they can expect from us. Like I said, we're going to cover so many different topics. And I think that is one of the things that will make it really fun for us too, is it's not like this one niche area. We're just doing life together here. We're talking about life. So that's really exciting. We've talked about doing something called Friendship Court. Mm-hmm. Now, people are going to think that's us judging, but that's not. We said it at the beginning that your friend, your best friend, should really, be the person that you get to lean on and get their advice from. And not everybody always feels like they have that. So we want to be that to you. We want to be your bestie. We want to, listen, you could take it or leave it once we give our advice or opinion. But you can write into us if you're dealing with a difficult situation and ask us to weigh in on it. And get both mine and Donald's opinions.
Right. I think that'll be good too, because there may be some things where we both 100% this is how we think that situation should be handled. Or there could be issues that people send where I have an opinion and then you might handle it differently, and it creates an interesting conversation about how to handle it. So I'm really excited about hearing from you guys, the listener, the viewer, what some of those things you're facing with that you need that friend voice, that best friend support, and maybe we can help you. And maybe you have a best friend, but there's an issue that's has to do with them.
Yeah.
And so we can be a safe space where you can talk about that anonymously, and we can hopefully help you out, at least share what our thoughts are about it.
Yeah. And if you would like to submit to us, it's everythingsperfectpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us your questions. You can send us your thoughts. You can send us whatever you're struggling with. And like I said, we're going to pick one. It won't be in every episode, but we will have episodes where we have the Friendship Court and we get to weigh in on that.
We may also sometimes share just some of those on our socials. Right. So if we don't share it on a podcast episode, make sure you're following us on social media so that you can see, because I think that it's going to be really fun to be able to help people out that way.
I know Donald and I are both excited to be here with you guys doing the Everything's Perfect podcast. So make sure you leave us a review. We would really appreciate that. Subscribe. Tune in every week. We've got new episodes dropping. If you leave us, we're going to, at the start of each episode, if you leave us a review, we're going to read one of our reviews at the start of each episode, give you a little shout out because we appreciate you being here and listening and showing us the love. So we want to give you guys some love back.
Thanks for listening to our first episode, you guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
See you next time.